Hello everyone, my name is Pat. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm bringing you guys my winter recommendations. Now, fall and winter are my top favorite seasons to read. Even when I lived in the Philippines, I love reading super atmospheric books during what you would call fall and winter months here in the US or here in the West Coast. So now with me experiencing snow and actual fall and winter, it's just, exacerbated a little bit more that want for super atmospheric books. So here are the books that just makes me feel all the feel for winter. The first one actually has winter in its name. Winterwood by Shea Earnshaw. I read this I think last year and I really enjoyed this one. This one follows Nora Walker, who is thought to be or seen as a witch by her small town. She lives near the woods. She one day finds this boy in the forest, the same boy that has been missing from the camp of wayward boys weeks ago. Nobody knows where he was, nobody could find him. The woods start to change after she finds Oliver, and it's just super atmospheric. There's hints of magic in here woven into the story, into the narrative, and just makes it so atmospheric. There's a lot of layers and secrets with Nora as well, her family, and with Oliver, who was found in this forest and he doesn't remember what happened to him and what really happened during the time that he went missing. So it's super creepy. If you're looking for a book that is still kind of in the fall dark creepy vibes but also leaning towards winter, I would highly recommend this one. Or if you're just looking for creepy vibes but winter set, this is really good. I really enjoyed this one. I had a lot of fun, very atmospheric, the vibes are great. The next one I think has been a classic recommendation for winter reads, and that is Spinning Silver by Naomi Novak. A lot of people say that this just screams winter when you read it. It makes you feel the cold, like you're actually in the story, which is so true. This is a Rumpelstiltskin retelling set in Russia. We are following Miriam. She is a daughter of a moneylender, but her father actually isn't a very good moneylender. He's too kind. He actually doesn't ask people back for the money, or if people say that they don't have the money, he just lets them. And so one day she decides to take control of her father's business because they were starving. They literally have nights where they don't have food to eat, and she's doing really good. One day she exclaims that she can turn silver into gold, and it reached this kingdom of fae creatures that have a thing for gold, and she gets abducted by their king to his kingdom to turn their silver into gold. Again, super atmospheric. Although it's very long, it just really captivates you, this story. And when I read this one, I couldn't stop reading this one. I had so much fun reading this. It's so good. The writing is beautiful, very transportive. I don't know if that's the right word, but it really takes you into the story. And I loved our main character, Miriam, and we're also following two more girls in the story that have kind of the same background as her, where they're struggling in their place, in their family, in their society, and they're trying to free themselves from that. They're just wonderful girls to follow. Very strong. They're all fed up with how they're treated and they're all fighting for themselves, and I just really enjoyed this one. Another great read. The next one is Kingdom of Back by Marie Lu. Now this one is not set necessarily in winter, but this is kind of a historical fiction fantasy following the sister of Wolfgang Mozart. And in this story, both Wolfgang and Anurl grew up being taught piano. And that's also based realistically. The actual sister of Mozart, Wolfgang Mozart, actually do know how to play the piano. And a lot of people will argue that she is as good, if not better, than Wolfgang. But because she is a woman in this time, or she wasn't treated and expected to be the same way as Wolfgang was. So in the story, when they were kids, they made up this imaginary kingdom. And this is also based on history. The siblings actually did make up this magical world where they will escape to during the time that they were traveling around playing for people, because the carriage rides were very long and very tiring, so they made up this game. And in this take, the actual kingdom becomes real, and a boy from this kingdom talks to them and takes them to this kingdom and asks them for help. And it's just super atmospheric as well. Just the vibes is so wintry. It gives you that kind of creepy, cold, there's hidden magic and hidden motives by this person that was taking them to this kingdom, but also the kingdom itself. There's secrets in there, and it's again very atmospheric, very high. Just enjoy this one so much. The writing is also beautiful, and it's pretty a fast read, I would say. This is just a little over 300 pages, so highly recommend this one as well. This is a pretty old fantasy series that I actually have never heard anybody talk about, and that is Immortal Rules by Julie Kagawa. This is a vampire, YA vampire series, but what I really appreciate about this one is the take on the vampires. They're the gory, gruesome, bloody vampires. Kind of has a dystopian aspect to it as well, because it's like vampires became real and the world changed. Kind of like Walking Dead in that there's like scientific aspects to how vampires came to be, or like World War Z. The reason why this to me feels winter is this specific scene that I remember reading, and I think it was winter, and it just captured the entire series for me, where the main character's creator meets with her and they're kind of having this conversation where, you know, it's like not going anywhere. They're having this argument. It's set in this kind of ran down house type thing, and it's really cold, really winter. Just the feel of it, like it's dark, it's creepy, it's cold, you're sucked into it, and I love this series so much. It's one of my favorite YA fantasy vampire stories series that I've never heard anybody talk about. So highly recommend that you read this one if you're interested in that. And anyway, if even if you're not, just try reading the first book. I swear I had a lot of fun reading this one. I enjoyed it so much. And this was released early 2000s, I think, or like mid 2000s, 2010s. I think 2012. There we go. Highly recommend. Another one is another series. Now this one is a little bit more talked about than Immortal Rules series. Blood of Eden. The name of the actual series is actually Blood of Eden. The first book is Immortal Rules. But yeah, Blood of Eden by Julie Kagawa. So good. This one is Angel Fall, Penryn and the End of Days series by Suzanne E. This was released, I think, around the same time, like 2010, 2012 as well. And this just is also very, very atmospheric. This is dystopian fantasy as well, where angels came down and it's like the end of the world type thing. It grows from there. It grows so much from there. The reason why this is a winter is, for me, also the vibes. It's scary. It's dark. What makes this a winter read for me is because like the overall tone of the story, similar to Blood of Eden series. It's dark. It's scary. It feels chilling, like you're alone, and it's cold. Also pretty gruesome. It's dark fantasy, even though it is YA. I loved our main character. She just wants to protect her family, or the only family that she has left, and she's just trying to survive in this world where she kind of had coming of age too. She's 17 and her life falls apart and people are dying around her, and she wants to protect her sister, and it's so much fun. One of the best like dystopian fantasy series I've ever read. It's one of my top fantasy series as well, so highly recommend. Next one is another classic winter rec, which is the Bird and Nightingale series by Katherine Arden. This is a trilogy, and it's very similar to Summoning Silver, where the author is really able to take you into this world and makes you feel the cold. The story here is following Vasya, who lives in this small country. Historically, it was during the time when the country is getting turned into a Catholic religion, and so, you know, the beliefs that the people originally had were being erased, and so Vasya is able to see these spirits, these creatures that protect the house and protect their land, but because they're tied to the beliefs that the people have, with their wavering beliefs, they're also losing strength and power. Again, the vibes is really, really great, very atmospheric, great story. It also kind of expands from that main premise that we have in the first book. Ines Morozco, who is like the Lord of Winter, kind of. He asks Vasya for help because he was losing power too. And yeah, just amazing read, very atmospheric. I'm pretty sure you've heard of this one being recommended in winter a lot. It feels winter when you read it. My next recommendations, my next two recommendations are going to be Christmassy reads, because, you know, winter, Christmas, etc. if you celebrate that, of course. First one is Dash and Linley's Book of Dares by Rachel Kahn and David Levithan. Another classic. This is just so much fun to read. This is a short book. I think this was 200 pages or so. I had so much fun reading this one, and the Netflix series is also really, really good. I really enjoyed that one. It is different from the book, but like the main idea of it is the same, and just I feel like they executed it very well, and that even though it's very different from the book, still really, really enjoyed the show. Very cute. It is a romance, and I'm pretty sure you've heard of this book as well. If you haven't read it, it's really fun. It's a quick read, I promise you. It's very atmospheric too in terms of like the Christmas vibes. Next one is So This Is Christmas by Tracy Andreen. I read this one, I think last month. This is already released, and this was an arc that I read, and this is another one that is just like a really quick, fun read. read that just captures like the essence of Christmas. It has that Christmas hijinks kind of story, because we're following a main character who goes back to her hometown, which is Christmas, Oklahoma, to find that a lot of things are different. Her parents are separated. Her former high school nemesis in school is working for her grandmother's inn, and a guy from her new school comes to her grandma's doorstep telling her that you need to give me the Christmas that you told me was present in here. Like, told people like the idyllic Christmas that you promised people back in our school, because she lied about Christmas in Oklahoma being all about Christmas because of the name Christmas, or why it's called Christmas in the first place, because it has this like big massive festivals during Christmas. So a lot of Christmas hijinks, reindeers, sleigh rides. It was a lot of fun reading. Very light and fun read. So those are all of my winter recommendations. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have more winter recommendations that I didn't include here, let me know down below, and I will see you on my next video. Bye.